And we're also going to increase the density in order to get the site as active as possible. So we're looking at including some high density residential, some townhome sites, and probably a high-end patio home site as well. And we think the studies will also show that we need an actual second hotel site on the project. Those studies are underway. We've got a hotel site located on the refinery site that I'll show you in a minute, but we think there's a second opportunity for a hotel with the inclusion of the ballpark and then also the business park. This is a land plan for the refinery district. I got a more detailed plan. I'm going to get to this in a second, so I'm going to speed through that. And then the professional business park district. And then the tracks along Highway 6, which gives us a lot of frontage on Highway 6 to do typical commercial business applications and some retail as well. And again, here it is all tied back together. Now, we got a little more detailed planning on the refinery site district. The refinery site will be a mixed-use, high-density, urban type of development, similar to what you see here in City Center, similar to what you see in the City of Sugar Land Town Center, with the added part of the history included into that mixed use as well. And this is where the char house is located. Right now we're programming a use of predominantly office space, up to about 40,000 square feet of office, retail on the ground floor. We have a Sugar Land Heritage Foundation Museum that'll be located on the second floor of the char house. And then on the top of the building, try to take advantage of some of the views. It's probably one of the best views in Fort Bend County. And my thought up there is to put a restaurant and take advantage of the views. On a clear day, you can see all the way to downtown, Medical Center, Galleria, West Chase District. It's just some beautiful views up there, so we'll try to take advantage of that. Brook Street actually terminates right now at Kempner Road, right north of 90. We'll extend that into the project, kind of create a plaza area for open space, for public gathering, for public activities. And then Brook Street will terminate into what we're proposing as a hotel conference center, about 225 to 250 rooms, about 30,000 square feet of conference space. And then over here to the west of the plaza, we've got what we're proposing as a possible performing arts theater or some sort of entertainment venue. And then we've also had some discussions with the Children's Museum. They're looking for a satellite office in the Fort Bend market, and we think there's an opportunity there as well. Parking garages, caddy corner from each other, wrapped in retail. This parking deck over here has some restaurant opportunities around Oyster Creek. And then on the north side, we've got some higher density residential with structured parking to help activate the site on the live side of the live work play. And then the area on the east side and the corner over here next to Ulrich are kind of flexible space. We're showing some uses in here, but we're going to leave those kind of open to see how the market dictates where those end up going. But it's an exciting project. And then here's just some views about, or some imagery about how the development will look. Again, it'll be urban cross sections with smaller setbacks, larger sidewalks, limit the vehicular traffic, slow it down so it becomes a more walkable community, and some plaza areas like this. Development challenges. I mean, we've got with the refinery site, we've got a lot of challenges. The demolition of the site, it's expensive, time consuming, and so that becomes probably one of the biggest challenges on the site. The environmental contamination and the remediation of that contamination goes hand in hand with the demolition, so that's another challenge of the site. Gross versus net acreage. When you looked at that project description, Oyster Creek meanders through there. There's a lot of floodplain. There's a lot of wetland areas, and so basically about half of the gross acreage will be saleable at the end of the development. Union Pacific Railroad right now runs north of Highway 90. So the entrance into the refinery site, you have to cross Union Pacific Railroad. So that's one of our challenges. Nalco Chemical Company is located to the south and kind of the southwest of the refinery site. It's our neighbor. We've got to live with him, but it's a challenge. A high per acre development cost, again with the floodplain, with Oyster Creek, with the demolition of the refinery site, there's some high per acre development costs. And then adjacent communities, obviously we want to be good neighbors and make sure our uses are cohesive with what the community wants. And then dealing with traffic and being able to mitigate that traffic and not affect those communities. So with those challenges, it makes those public financing, or the public financing structure helps us overcome some of those challenges. And right now, I mentioned earlier, we've got the Imperial Redevelopment District is one of our structures that we have. I mentioned earlier it's created by the state of Texas legislature with the consent of the city of Sugar Land. And this is what's interesting about this. When we created it through the legislature, we were able to get financing power as the same as a municipal utility district, a roadway utility district, a management utility district, and also has the same financing options as a TERS has as well. So we like to call it a MUD on steroids. Yeah. Eligible district costs for reimbursement are currently estimated at $76 million, and that's assuming a $1.10 tax rate. And then, of course, the tax revenue funds generated by the district will be used to support the issuance of bonds for infrastructure cost reimbursements. In addition to the redevelopment district, we also have a TERS that was created on the project, TERS number 3. Eligible costs for reimbursements are currently estimated at $28 million. And we're eligible for 1/2 of the city's tax and the county's ad valorem tax revenue generated by the incremental property values on the property and due to the development. A portion of the revenue will be used to support some of the city's debt for certain development costs associated with the ballpark. And then the remaining revenue will flow through the district to help support the issuance of bonds for infrastructure cost reimbursements. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, 1/2 of the sales tax, 1/2 of the incremental sales tax of the city can be used to help fund parking structures as well. That was another part of the TERS. And then some of the infrastructure to be financed: demolition and environmental remediation, water and wastewater, drainage and detention, public roadways, parks and plazas, landscaping and lakes, entry features and signage, public parking, structured parking. And then, as I mentioned earlier, with the management district powers, it gives us the ability to fund the maintenance of landscaping, parks and plazas. It'll give the ability to fund entertainment activities in the mixed-use areas, and also give us the ability to fund some parking management, which we think will be necessary to try to connect the ballpark back to the refinery site with some sort of people moving shuttle or something. We want to make sure that there's definite synergy between both districts. And the economic benefit to the city, we're going to generate about $750 million in added property value. The on-site sales tax generated by the retail in the project, on-site property taxes generated by the development of the property, personal property taxes on retail inventory, water and sewer system revenue. And this one, I probably should have put it on the top, of the demolition and remediation of the refinery site, I think is the biggest key to get rid of a dilapidated, rundown refinery site and build a development which will be an economic engine to help the city grow and prosper. On-site public parks, trails, and open space, and then the reimbursement by the TERS of certain costs associated with the development of the ballpark. And as we go forward through the development, we also see some other future opportunities for public-private partnerships. The full-service hotel conference center, we think there's an opportunity to partner up on that project. Other entertainment venues, the Performing Arts Theater, Children's Museum, we think there's some other possibilities there. And Mayor, I know, again, these are wish lists, so I'm not speaking for you. Parking structures, business office relocation, and economic incentives. And then I think the mayor showed this earlier, but this kind of shows what the Imperial redevelopment or the refinery site could look like in a 3D perspective, as well as the ballpark. And that's my presentation. I appreciate your time.